Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about the keto diet. Did our caveman ancestors eat a ketogenic diet? Is it natural? Is it healthy to be on a ketogenic diet? Because it's just all over the place nowadays, all over the news, all over YouTube. Go on a ketogenic diet, it will save your life. And I get it, this is a diet that I followed and I had a lot of success on, but I would have never healed myself just by following a ketogenic diet. You have to understand what's going on behind the scenes. And so my name is Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy. I healed myself 100% naturally. Crohn's disease, I used to have a horrible perianal fistula that used to pus blood and ooze blood and pus all day long. It looked like roadkill in my pants. It was super disgusting and attractive. I want to show you how I fix this stuff 100% naturally. Yeah, I have tons of videos where I'm like eating bread. Now, I used to never eat bread because I used to react horribly to it. Like I would eat a piece of bread or eat a corn chip or something like that, and I'd be out of commission for 3 days. Now I eat these tasty foods every single day with just about every single meal. And if you want to learn how to do this, hit that subscribe button because I show you natural gut healing videos at least 2 to 3 times a week. And so let's define what the ketogenic diet is. And to be in ketosis, it means your body is running off of ketones versus running off of glucose for its main fuel source. So in order to be ketogenic, you have to be on like a low protein, a low sugar diet, and this like super high in fat diet, like a super high fat diet. Like 80% of your calories need to come from fat. It's like crazy. And so Weston A. Price, the king of nutrition, in the 1930s, he investigated indigenous peoples all around the world, and he found that populations that were still on their ancestral diets were pretty much in perfect health. They had perfectly straight teeth, they had no cavities, they were practically immune to disease, they could see the moons of Jupiter with the naked eye, they could run up to deer and snap their necks. I mean, they were superhuman. So I want to be this healthy. This is the best blueprint I've seen for health, is these primitive populations that he has witnessed and other settlers had witnessed. I mean, this is the best template we have, and this is what we're going to follow. And so the simple question we need to answer is, were any of these people on a ketogenic diet? And, there's a lot of confusion around what an ancestral caveman diet is, and we're going to go over that right now. And, and another question we're going to look at is, are there any animals naturally in Mother Nature that are in a state of ketosis? And on a regular basis. So let's go around the world. So first we're in North America. In North America, they were eating corn when Christopher Columbus first came over. So when Christopher Columbus first came over, they were eating cassava root or yucca root. Like literally, like when they were coming off their ships, they were being handed cassava bread. The Plains Indians were trading for corn, and they were also eating this tuber found in the prairie. So they were not in ketosis. The North American Indians none of them were in ketosis. They all ate some sort of a starchy food. We go down to South America. We have corn, we have potatoes, we have beans. They had all sorts of starchy foods in their diet. And even when you look at the hunter-gatherer groups that are in the rainforest, they're eating some sort of tuber. They're making sure they get some sort of starch in their diet. And if we go to Europe, all over Europe, they're eating some sort of grains. They're eating oatmeal. They're eating some sort of grains. They're eating some sort of oatmeal, potatoes. In Asia, they're eating rice, sweet potatoes. They're eating some sort of starch. In Africa, again, they're eating some sort of grains and, dairy. Dairy is in somewhat a starch. Lactose is a starch. They're eating tubers. And Weston A. Price witnessed every single one of these populations I'm mentioning here. They all had perfect teeth, perfect health. And if they were living by their ancestral principles, they had a 0% cavity rate. They were. If you go to Africa, some people mistaken that the people who were eating carbs had higher rates of cavities. But then you go over to the Peruvians, and they ate even more carbs than some of these African populations, and they had a 0% cavity rate. So you can have a 0% cavity rate while eating a high carb diet. You just need to understand these ancestral principles and how to properly prepare these starchy foods. But again, we're going to stay on topic. Did he find any populations on a ketogenic diet? We go to the Pacific Islands. They're eating tubers. They had all sorts of tubers. They're eating all sorts of fruits. So they were in ketosis. We go to the Australians. Most people think the Australians were these hunter-gatherer populations, and this is totally false. This is totally false. When you read the first journals from like British explorers and stuff, they talk about fields of wheat that were planted by, not wheat, but some sort of grain planted by the Aboriginals. You look, that vast desert in Australia used to be, the wheat belt or the grain belt for the Australian Aborigines. I mean, read the book The Black Emu, or read The Greatest Estate, and it talks about how the Aborigines turned Australia into this lush wonderland where food was abundant, and then the Europeans came in and just destroyed everything. They ate grains, they ate tubers, they ate fruits, they had all sorts of things in their diet. So the one thing ketogenic people really cling to are the Eskimos. And because they ate very little plant foods, and they didn't eat any starches because they couldn't grow them. And so this was the only group that ate tons and ate pretty much 90% of their food came from an animal source. But guess what? They were eating a starch, and it was called glycogen. And this is how glucose gets stored in your body. And certain cuts of meat were super high in glycogen. They would also eat everything raw because cooking destroys glycogen. And yes, Eskimo means it's slang for, or derogatory for, they eat it raw. They were eating everything raw, and I think it was to get this glycogen. And they really prized the cuts of meat that were high in glycogen. And they would also eat plant matter out of the guts of animals that they had killed. And again, they were eating a lot of protein, and they were eating this glycogen, and they weren't in ketosis. When these explorers and doctors went up there, they measured for ketosis in a variety of ways, and they all came up negative. They were not in ketosis. And if you want to learn more about the Eskimos and whether they're in ketosis or not, I highly suggest you check out this article, linked to down below. It's great article, references tons of Arctic explorers and doctors' documentation of these Eskimos and what they did. And when we look all around the globe, we find grindstones dating back 60,000 years old. And when we look at the fossil records, they had perfectly straight teeth and no cavities. We have been eating grains since the dawn of time. Many people have issues with starches, and this is because they have not deactivated the anti-nutrients in starch. In these starchy foods, usually starchy foods are the babies of plants, and plants don't want you eating their babies. And you also have, just imagine eating poison ivy. This is what you're dealing with. I mean, it's like eating poison ivy and then wondering why your digestive system is inflamed. Then that is the equivalent of not deactivating the anti-nutrients in your starchy foods. And many conventional starches are sprayed with pesticides, which are not good for your digestive tract. And you're also probably dealing with an infection, which, starch is their favorite food. If you have an infection in your gut and you eat starch, I mean, usually that's enough to mess you up. If you have a messed up gut microbiome, starch is going to screw you up. So fat is important and fat is revered, but it's more for the fat-soluble vitamins than for, putting yourself into ketosis. Ketosis is like this fasting thing used to burn fat. It's your body needs glucose. It's going to convert protein into glucose. Glucose is the easiest form of energy to utilize, throughout Mother Nature. Everything grows fastest, in the presence of glucose. It's a basic building block in your body, and if you don't give your body glucose, it's just going to have to make it, and it's going to junk up the assembly line because your body has to do another unnecessary task that it shouldn't be doing if you ate correctly. Links are in the description below, but just remember, gut disease is just an injured gut, and a ketogenic diet, which is easier to digest and kind of helps with infection, but you cannot kill an infection with a ketogenic diet. They can live off ketones. Bad bacteria and fungi and candida can live off ketones. You have to understand how these bad guys behave and how to kill them if you want to get better. Inflammation is your body's response to injury. Wounds, pain, irritation, and inflammation are signs you've done something to injure your gut, just like hitting your arm. It's just in the gut, and it's in this black box, and we can't see what's going on. It's the only reason why it seems complicated. It's just an injured gut. That is all gut disease is, guys, and I want to show you how to fix it. What I want you to do, I'm talking to you, Wallflower. Get out your keyboard or your phone or whatever, and type a comment down below. What are your experiences on the ketogenic diet? Are you craving carbs? Do you want to eat carbs again? What starch do you miss the most? And the best comment is going to get a copy of our ebook, 21 Nutrition and Health Lies, Keeping You Sick. And we also have this available on soft copy and on Amazon. And yeah, guys, I want to see you get better. So another place to find great videos on gut health, on how to heal, is go to our channel page, and we have it all laid out for you. Easy to find, well organized. Also hit the top eye in the corner, but most importantly, hit that subscribe button, because we come out with videos 2 to 3 times a week on how to heal your gut. And I'm going to share more good information with you guys about this stuff. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you later. Watch my videos. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you guys watching our videos. Leave a comment on what videos you want me to make. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go eat something. It's getting late, and I'm gonna go eat some starch right now, which I used to not be able to do. So bye bye, guys, and I'll see you later.